to the game. Bombs warm they weary souls over open flames. Junkie can't find God, watch him find his vein. Preacher walk right by like he ain't seen a thing. Pass the collection plate. Niggas thought shit was gon' change on election day. Healthcare, H1N1 nasal spray. Got me scared to hit the block. Well, my flag as a mask told a Glock in 2000 and beyond.
All right, so I'm here with my boy Rashad Patterson. How should I introduce you, man?
Yeah, what's happening, man?
So, Rashad Patterson.
Yes, sir. Southwest Atlanta, man. Stand up, man.
Southwest Atlanta, college graduate.
I'm telling you, man. Georgia State, man. They did wonders for me, man.
Yeah.
It definitely opened my perspective up, man. And I appreciate Georgia State for everything it did for me.
Yes, sir, man.
I met Sean down there, man. Met a real good bro. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to meet good people out here, man.
Man, trying to be good, man.
Yeah.
Trying to be blessed, man. Highly favored.
Yeah.
That's the deal. Trying to, man. So how you been feeling, man, with all this quarantine stuff, man? How you been living?
Kind of had me in disorientation, you know what I mean? But hey, man, I'm getting back acclimated. And we had the little curfew, so the restrictions kind of had slowed me down. You know, I was going 100,000 miles an hour with going to school here, there. I had a couple engagements I couldn't even meet due to the coronavirus. But hey, it is what it is. I had no control over the situation. I just had to maneuver around it. So I started taking my show online, creating content. You know, I ain't never stopped creating content. I might not have enough for 5 days, but 6-7 days, Rashad Patterson gonna drop something.
Right, that's what I'm saying, man. I feel like Rashad is one of the most consistent people I ever met. Definitely gonna pull up on you.
I appreciate that, man.
Wherever you at, he ain't gonna wait. I tell you what, man. I pulled up on him one day. We was at Switz Bar and Grill.
I'm telling you, man, right there on Honda Street in Cashman, man.
Yeah, man. I pulled up on him, man. He was tired. He been running around the whole day, man.
Right.
For real, man. That's nothing but good work ethic.
Right.
So that's good, man. With the corona stuff, you've been keeping busy, man. I'm sure it's all trying to, man.
Right.
Trying to. All right, so let's talk about where you from, man. I know you said you was from Southwest Atlanta. Go a little bit of detail about that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'm on Southwest Atlanta, man. Call it Zone 4. It's a couple neighborhoods that consist of Southwest Atlanta. But, Cascade to be exact, we call it Black Buckhead. Spent some time on Martin Luther King. I actually went to school at Payne Forest, elementary school. Then I went to the south side. My mom wanted me to go to school on the south side. So, it was a different dynamics when I left APS to Fulton County, Count Creek Middle School. It was big different. It's same similarities, but it was a little different, Still an inner city school. It just was in College Park. And so, things move a little different in College Park in Southwest Atlanta.
You called it Black Buckhead. Like, what do you mean by that exactly? I don't think the people, just in case for people who don't know.
I got you. We call it Black Buckhead, man, because, it's the closest thing to Buckhead in the city of Atlanta on an urban environment. You got one part of Cascade is real, impoverished, crime-ridden hood. At the gas station, they asking you 2 for $5, or little bro, I got that gas. Then you got the other end of Cascade once you go 285, where it's a little well-off people, established people with careers, and so we call it Black Buckhead. They actually got an Applebee's over there, the Walmart. It got a little more going on than certain areas, but we call it Black Buckhead. Just a little turn. We like, you got to ride through there, man. They got $500,000 homes over there, and you might turn one street, and then it's a bunch of apartments. So it's Black Buckhead, man. It's a lifestyle. It's just what it is. Some of the kids that I went to school with even thought we was rich, just because we lived over there, and it wasn't even the case. My parents was hard-working people. I was fortunate to live with my mom and my daddy. A lot of kids I grew up with, my friends, they didn't have their daddy. You know what I'm saying? Some didn't have their mom. Their aunt and grandma raised them. But, me, I was fortunate enough to have my mom till she passed away. But
I'm sorry about that.
She was a strict mother, young black mother. Made sure I went to school. Her dream was for me to go to college, so that was a push for me to go. Eventually, I didn't even think I was gonna go to college. You know what I mean? But I was working a job, had got fired for some nonsense, and I was like, I can't do this no more. You know, I'm gonna go to college, get educated, and figure out and tune in and tap in to what the universe has to offer and what I can offer to the universe.
Do you feel like your upbringing, because I will say you have a really unique experience. Now, I'm not even going to say unique. It just depends on the perspective, because I'm from New York. I came down here 6th, 7th grade, moved to the country. So there was a lot of people out in that area. You know, they may commute back and forth, but they weren't in the city.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah, Atlanta, Georgia, man, it's definitely a culture. When I say a culture, it's a way of life. You know what I mean? It's the South, but if you really from Atlanta, it's a certain
What's so special about it? Not to cut you off.
What's so special about it? I mean, it's a bunch of things special about it. I mean, every weekend it's something going on. They got day parties. I mean, you got the music industry, the film industry. It's a lot of things. Great opportunities for people of color, you know, that's trying to do something. People from all over the world is moving here. I just seen the city change tremendously, you know.
From what to what?
I seen it change from nothing to something, you know, because I grew up when public housing was around in the city. And around 2008, they tore all the projects down, and then they even tore down a lot of historic neighborhoods such as Pittsburgh, Fourth Ward, Mechanicsville, neighborhoods of that you know, that caliber.
Mechanicsville's over by downtown area.
Yeah,
right?
Mechanicsville's where we used to catch the bus right there. One side is Mechanicsville, the other side is Summerhill. And my dad, he actually grew up in Zone 3, which is Carver Homes. He stayed on Price Street. That's up the street. Yeah, man, Atlanta, it has neighborhoods on top of neighborhoods. So I mean, it's just something some folks, they don't know, some people do know, you know. I get a lot of people, they say, man, people ain't even from Atlanta. We here, we just congregate in a certain area, you know what I mean? A lot of people like on the southwest side of the city. Then a lot of these neighborhoods like Kirkwood, I actually grew up in Kirkwood. My grandma had a house on Martha Avenue. You know,
on the east side, right?
Yeah, Zone 6, East Atlanta, to be exact, you know. So, I seen that get really gentrified. You know, it's nothing like when she was living over there. You know, and that was like when I was 8. You know, so I used to live in Southwest Atlanta, go to school in Southwest Atlanta. Then my dad would drop me off at my grandma's house until I was old enough, you know, to stay at the house, you know, by myself. So I spent most of my time out there in Kirkwood. You know, then she sold her house and moved to my grandma's house on Camilton. You know, Camilton Road. It was a lot of experiences on Camilton. We actually lived next door to the chop shop. You know, they used to steal cars all day left and right. It was like the early 90s. You know, I was a kid. I used to see all type of cars get chopped up in the yard back there. So
I don't think people gonna know, you know, what that mean. You know what I'm saying? That's its own thing.
Yeah, well, you know, they probably don't. So I elaborate. So what they'll do, they'll steal the cars, take them in the backyard. They'll go so far in the backyard in the woods so you couldn't really see what was going on, but we could hear the constant work. And then I just see multiple cars over there. You know, I used to ask my grandma, you know, she say, child, mind your business. That ain't got nothing to do with you. And, you know, I understood that. That really didn't have nothing to do with us. You know, what they got going over there is what they got going on. That had nothing to do with us.
You seem like your upbringing was really solid as far as family wise and everything like that. What do you feel like your family gave you a certain type of platform to stand on, a certain type of square to stand on? Like, what do you think was in that square, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, they definitely. One, they very church going, God fearing people. So at a young age, I was able to know God. You know what I mean? I actually got a relationship with God. You know, due to the corona and everything, I like going to church, you know, every Sunday, you know. So that is one thing. I do speak to God every day. So and then they instilled a lot of hard working morals in me. My grandma, she was hard working. She grew up Her mom was hard working, and then unfortunately, she was a single parent, raising two daughters. So she had to work two jobs, working Citizen Trust Bank. Then nighttime, she worked at the Marriott Marquis. So I don't know nothing but work hard and grind, coming from the bottom, When I was 20, I seen my first $40,000, straight cash. I was saving it, so.
How did I feel?
That actually felt great, you know what I mean? I blew it, went and bought a little mediocre crib, my first house. Got some furniture, It actually felt good because I was working towards a plan and a goal. And one thing in life, if you working towards a plan and a goal, it give me a certain type of feeling, a sensation inside, like you doing something,
Sense of purpose.
The purpose, yeah. Goal without a plan is only a dream, and I learned that at a young age,
Damn, bro, that's powerful, bro. All right, so let's try to switch gears a little bit. What's your motivations, man? Besides getting up and doing what you got to do, man. Who you listening to? Anybody you reading, paying attention to? That's kind of keeping you moving, kind of shaping what you're doing.
To be honest with you, I'm severely self-motivated. You know what I mean? I really don't have nobody coaching me on how to move like this. Now, when I went to Georgia State, I took a couple classes and they kind of structured my way of thinking, but I always been interested in race. Now, what Georgia State did, it helped me get educated because I used to try to do the positive rap thing, but a lot of stuff went in line, and then if some people asked me some questions, I probably didn't give an in-depth answer. So,
Go into depth, like what you mean by that?
Go into depth with it. Like I just blurting out stuff, and then like having not knowing the facts to back it up. For an example, I learned what redlining was in school. I learned what sundown time was. I learned what the definition of sociology was, which is the systematic study of human society and social interaction. So I learned a number of things. I learned about Emmett Till, stuff they don't teach you in school. I learned the date of when I learned when slavery started, which was 1619, and when it ended, 1865.
About 400, 500 years in, man.
Right. I learned about what blockbusting was. I had a great teacher, Andrew Lavara. She kind of tailored this. And when I was in class, I used to tell her, like, I would write kids' books. So she really, I guess she didn't take me serious, but hey, man, she see me on the internet. I see her watching my story, liking my pics. So I guess, it's a confirmation that, hey, he got something from my class, And so I took 2 classes from her. It was a wealth and equality. That's when my mind started to tap in.
So I met. I didn't meet you. I met you before that.
I met you in the African
American studies. Yeah.
But the wealth equality, that's when we linked in. Yeah, because the other class, you kind of was there. You know what I mean? You had a job. Or, I don't know.
Yeah, for the sake of the podcast, I'm gonna say I was there 2/3 of the time.
2/3 of the time.
We made it out of there, man.
Yeah.
We made it, and I'm not gonna lie, man. I learned a lot. It was just I like the discussion. I like discussion type classes, group type classes where you can kind of relay what's going on, get people's feedback. You see, she may say something, and then you see people kind of get restless in the in the classroom, and that may cause a certain type of debate or whatever. So shout out Dr. Love, man. I still see her on Instagram and stuff like that. I know she's doing her thing, man. I really wish I could have took that class over again and slowed down a little bit more, and definitely soaked more of it in, and definitely just not taking it as a class. Like taking it more of as an experience, you know what I mean?
Big facts. I was thinking about that too the other day. If I could have, but you down in school, you out here trying to work, time be flying.
You're trying to do what you do,
Trying to do what you do. But we did soak in something, you know what I mean? The bit that she taught us, we soaked that in.
And one thing that you said in both the classes was mental slavery, man. I'm not gonna lie. The first time you said mental slavery, I kind of understood what it was, but I was like, what? Like, what you mean? Like, because the argument was slavery is still going on. It's just not in the form that people see it as. So if you don't mind, bro, if you could still remember what you're going,
Gotcha. I got you. Yeah. Mental slavery, you know what I mean? And this is something I've been debating on for a long time, and it came to me, I guess, in high school. It was a guy, I knew both of the guys, but I was cooler with one guy. He stole this guy's knife, and he told me to hold a knife, and they ended up getting a fighting over this knife. They fought like 2 times. It was a real bad fight. Both of them was real bloody, and that gave me a perception on mine. And I was like, from that day forward, I started walking away from fights. You know what I mean? You know how some people, they get to fight and they run towards the fight. I was walking away from the fight. Yeah. Then, not only that, like I said, when I when I went to school in middle school on the south side, which was Camp Creek, they had 4 different neighborhoods at this school. And it was a neighborhood by the name of Boat Rock. It was a housing project off Forest Industrial. They used to get into it with another neighborhood, which was Washington Road, but they called itself 4500. It was another side of Washington Road. And I was like, they had so much pride in their neighborhoods, and they used to fight back and forth. I'm talking about years at a time. They see each other as own, you know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, where's this mentality coming from? So once they tore Broke Rock down, a lot of these guys moved over there into Washington Road. So we'll hear about they got the fighting on the weekend. Then when they come to school, it'll be a big brawl, but it'll go back and forth. And I seen that happen like for 6 years, you know what I mean, 6, 7 years. And not even with that neighborhood. I used to see Ben Hill and College Park, Oakland City, and Ben Hill, which I put in my book, Adamsville, Ben Hill, just various neighborhoods around the city. Summer Hill, Pittsburgh, like big beefs, neighborhoods that's like literally right on the same street. They might not be right across the street, but they was right on the same street. Some of them are cousins, you know what I mean? Or they know each other from football, you know what I mean? But
Going to the mall, football.
Yeah.
Basically.
But because they from this neighborhood and they're being programmed to think a certain way, and that's kind of how when you think of project, you know, it was a project. You know, I mean, just think about it. That's why they named it project. It was a project to see how we can keep African American people behind. You know what I mean? We're gonna keep them so focused on things in this neighborhood that they ain't even worried about what's going on in America. You know what I mean? You ever heard a lot of guys, they trying to earn stripes, they trying to do this.
This my block.
This my block. Yeah. I'm gonna be this forever, you know what I mean? And that's what the people in power want you to do. So what they have created is a ghetto mentality, a hood mentality. They have programmed people to think a certain way, and it has been passed on for generations to generations to generations. So, you know, that's what I call, you know, mental slavery. You know, when somebody programs you to think a certain way. And guess what? You don't have to think that way. You know what I mean? You can live in a neighborhood and be free. Bob Marley had a quote. You gotta. It's called "Emancipate yourself from mental slavery." Nothing but yourself can free your mind. So, like I say, it's up to you. You know what I mean? Regardless of what's going on around you, you got to tap in and want more out of life. You got to think. Let's start